everybody. What's up? It's me again. Sorry, it's my cell phone. Wrong, bad timing. Um, sorry. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about on this video, um, rejection because of your calling. Okay, so a little while, a couple months ago, I'll say, I was reading. No, this wasn't a couple months ago. It was probably like a month ago. I was reading First Samuel, and that's where the basis is going to be coming from. First Samuel 29, and the title of that chapter is "The Philistines Reject David." And basically, David goes to the Philistines to be a part of their army. He wants to be accepted, and um, it says the lords of the Philistines were reviewing, everybody, the men who had came to be a part of their armies. They were reviewing them, and in the process of doing so, they came across David and his men, and they were like, what are these Hebrews doing here? Why are you here? Like, I don't understand why you're coming to our army to be a part of us, which I don't understand either. But basically, David's rejected, and at Akishish, can't pronounce his name, Agishish, something like that. He was a part of the Philistines' army, and he's a friend of David's. And he came to David and told him, this is 1 Samuel chapter 29, verse 6. It says, "Then Achish called David and said to him, 'Surely as the Lord lives, the Lord, as in God, you have been upright, and your going out and your coming in with me in the army is good in my sight. For this day I have not found evil in you, since the day you were coming to me. Nevertheless, the Lord's, not our God, but the Lord's do not find favor in you.'" We know that the Philistines worshipped other gods. So in verse 7 he says, "Therefore return now and go in peace, that you may not displease the lords of the Philistines." So verse 8 says, "So David said to Achish, 'But what have I done? And to this day, what have you found in your servant as long as I have been with you, that I might not go and fight against the enemies of my lord the king?'" So basically it goes on, this David's questioning him, how come, excuse me, how come they won't accept me? Why haven't I found favor in your sight? Blah, blah, blah. And this just simple chapter, it just touched me in so many ways, because it's what I face on a day-to-day basis. I constantly feel not just rejected, I feel alone, and I feel like I have no friends all the time. I feel like, of course I have friends and I have people, that I can go to, blah, blah, blah. But I've never been the type of person to have friends constantly around, like a group of friends that we can go and hang out at any given time. We can do this and we can do that. And I've never been that type of person. I can never figure out why. Yes, I have best friends, and I have a best friend, and I have friends here and there, but I've never been the type of person to always have friends around me. Like, I've never been the type of person to be around my friends. In high school, the most I hung out with my friends was in high school put together. It couldn't have been more times. It couldn't have been more than 10 times. In my 4 years of high school, it could not have been more than 10 times that I went and hung out with my friends and we did stuff. Of course, I had like a boyfriend, but that was just a temporary thing, and I could never understand why I can't be, the socialite that everybody else is. They can call up their friend, "Hey, let's go to the movies. All right, it's a done deal. You're going." Why can't I have that? Why can't I have a group of friends that I'm always around, and I'm doing this with them and I'm doing that with them, even going to church? I don't have that here, and even now with me living this in an apartment by myself, I have nobody. My family's back in Maryland. I'm here in Charlotte. And God has helped me realize over this past year that he hasn't told me exactly what he's he wants out of me from this, but he has told me that the specific calling that's on my life, I have to be separated from the world. And not saying that my family and friends are in the world, but I need to be separated. I need to be apart from them. I'm not supposed to be that person, who's always on call, always hanging out with friends, because in order to use me how he needs me to be used, in order to use me how he needs to use me, I have to be apart from everybody else. And while that to me is just like, a tiny voice inside of me, being completely honest, a tiny voice inside of me is like, why me? Like, why do I have to go through this? And the bigger voice inside of me, I promise you, the bigger voice inside of me is saying, thank you, Lord, for choosing me. You know, I don't know what he has planned for my life, but I know it's something. And so when David goes to these Philistines and he's asking them, you know, to be a part of his army, and they reject him, he has no clue why. You know, he hasn't done wrong in the sight. He hasn't done evil, you know, whatsoever in the sight of these people. But he's like, why can't I? And of course, at that time, he doesn't realize that he's going to go on to be a legend. He's going to go on to be the idol and the symbol of praise for the Christian community. He doesn't realize that at the time. At the time, he's just like, I just want to fight against, you know, I want to fight with my friend. I want to fight against his enemies. And, you know, I just want to be of assistance. And he doesn't understand that these people are his enemies. He doesn't understand that these people are his enemies because they worship false gods and they don't serve the God that he serves, you know. So at the time, he doesn't realize that. He doesn't realize why they reject him. And he's so at, not at peace with the situation. I'll say not at peace with the situation. He can't figure out why. And, sorry. Um, this, this, so closely relates to many young Christians today. You know, we go to church, we've been to church all our lives, and we're doing right, you know, we're doing what we're supposed to do, but we're still hanging out with our friends, we're still doing this, we're still doing that, not necessarily bad stuff, but we're still just being, you know, teenagers, being young. And there'll come a point in our lives where God takes that all away. And we feel so, oh, woe is me. We feel like my life is ruined, you know, excuse me, we feel like we're being treated harshly, and we don't realize at that point in time that God is setting us apart for a special reason. And of course, at the time, we're gonna have the moment of doubt, like, why, you know, why am I alone? Why am I separated? Why can't I do this and why can't I do that? Because it's the life I used to have. But it'll come a time where God reveals to us what our purpose is, and he reveals to us why he has to separate us, make us distant from the people in our lives, and create this secluded area for you to sit in and just meditate on him and become one with him and develop your relationship with him and develop your passion for him, because there's a certain journey that you have to walk. And of course, it took me a long time. To realize that I am going to be walking a different journey from my friends and even from my family. I oftentimes question God as to why I'm here, my family's there. You know, not necessarily saying that I'm further, you know, or anything like that, but just we're just in two completely different boats. And it's my family, you know. I destined to be close with them. I desired to be close with them, and for us to walk this path together. And God has showed me that that's not the plan. Not to say that we're not going to end up together in the end, but as I walk right now, as I'm on my journey with Him right now, it's not His plan for us to do this together. He has separated me, and He has separated some of you guys. He separated a lot of people in this world because we have to walk separate journeys from other people. But don't be like David and reject it in the beginning. Don't be like David and question God's motives and question why me and why me. Thank God. Thank God, because a blessing is in this journey. A blessing like no other. My pastor tells me all the time, eyes have not seen, of course it says in the Bible, eyes have not seen nor have ears heard the blessing that God has in store for you. And he tells me that almost every Sunday. And I wholeheartedly believe that God has something special for me as well as all his people. But I know my blessing is going to be a lot different. I know that I'm called, and because I know I'm called, I can make those specific steps to fulfilling my destiny. I know that I am a David. I know that I have a purpose, and I'm going to have a lasting effect on this world. So even though your friends and your family and the people around you might reject you right now, like the Philistines did to David, they reject you and they don't want you to be a part of them. Be careful. Don't question God, and don't get upset about it, because that could very well be your enemy, and you might have to fight against that person with the power of God in the end. That's all I have to say. God bless and good night.